One of the common situations that we're faced with here at Gunderson, Denton, and Peterson is we'll get a client that will sometimes come in and let us know. They'll say, look, we've got an immediate situation that requires some immediate attention. We can't wait for 2 years, from the time you file a lawsuit to the time you get to a jury to get relief from the jury. We need to go into the judge right away, and what's happening to us is causing us immediate harm, and during those 2 years it could put us out of business, for example. There is a mechanism in the law designed to help clients with this exact type of a situation, and that is commonly referred to as obtaining a temporary restraining order or a preliminary injunction. That is designed specifically for clients where, hey, judge, we can't wait 2 years. We need help, we need relief now. And there is a specific procedural rules that need to be followed and adhered to in order to obtain this type of relief. A common situation would be, for example, a client comes in and says, look, this other company, they stole our confidential or proprietary information. They're stealing our clients. They're currently using that stuff. And if we wait 2 years, it's going to be worthless. They're going to put us out of business. So we've got to go in right now and get relief from the judge. And we here at Gunderson, Denton, and Peterson can do this. We handle these type of situations. We have to be familiar with those procedural rules that apply to obtaining temporary restraining orders and preliminary injunctions. The burden is quite high to obtain these temporary restraining orders. As you can imagine, the judge isn't just going to rubber stamp something and say, well, yeah, just because you told me that you're worried about this, I'm going to do it. We have to establish basically, number one, that we are substantially likely to succeed on the merits of the actual underlying claims, such as breach of contract or negligence or whatever we would be suing them for. So we're substantially likely to win on the claim. And then number two, that what we are seeking here is not money damages. Money damages will not help us. Such as, for example, they stole our stuff and they're currently using it. Judge, that needs to stop now. It's quite a high burden. In a temporary restraining order and a preliminary injunction hearing, what typically happens is, whereas you got normally a 2-year time period from the time you file a lawsuit to the time you get to a jury, with a TRO or preliminary injunction hearing, you compress all of that, and it occurs within about a 1-month time period. So it is very intense, very fact-intensive, and there's a lot of evidence that needs to be compressed into 1 month for this judge. That requires an experienced lawyer, someone who's familiar with the procedures that govern temporary restraining orders and what to do. It can be quite stressful for both parties involved, because you're basically coming to the court and say, Judge, we need to have a mini trial really quick within a few weeks to get this stopped now. That mechanism is there in place, designed specifically to help clients that are suffering some immediate harm. If we meet that burden, then the judge will grant the temporary restraining order and the preliminary injunction after that hearing that takes place. Conversely, we'll occasionally get clients in here that say, hey, I just got sued and there's a temporary restraining order in place. That also requires an attorney that has experience, again, with these TROs and these preliminary injunctions to know these rules. And basically, it's the same process except that it's in reverse. As a defendant in those situations, you've got to run to the court, get all your ducks in a row, lined up, and be able to go convince the court, Judge, they do not have enough evidence to establish for you that they are substantially likely to succeed on the merits of their claim. There's not evidence that we breached any contract. There's not evidence that we're causing any harm to them. There's not evidence that we stole any of their clients, that we took their confidential data. And on top of that, Judge, even if that was the case, what they're asking for can be compensated with money damages. It's the defense, which is basically just the same thing in reverse. And both of these situations, whether you're trying to obtain a temporary restraining order or to defend against a temporary restraining order or a preliminary injunction, require an attorney with knowledge in this situation, familiar with the court, familiar with being and comfortable with being in court and gathering evidence and working, frankly, under extreme time-crunched and compressed schedules, which is a mini trial in 1 month. And we have that experience here at Gunderson, Denton, and Peterson. We'd be happy to help you with your situation should the need arise.